takes me to the belly of darkness. Do it to yourself, you do. That's why it hurts. Do it to yourself, just you. You and no one else. Do it to yourself. I want to get into this. Get on up, get on up. Happy, happy, happy. Nothing in the corridor.
Well, you know, the catchphrase, what that was all about, the revolution will not be televised, that was about the fact that the first change that takes place is in your mind. You have to change your mind before you change the way you live and the way you move. So when we said that the
I should have known. It's a sound of the boss. Hey, hey, hey. So, my fight them on the wall of them. Lion, you know, beg no friend from none of them. You fight.
How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning?
Doublespeak.
Doublespeak is language designed to evade responsibility, make the unpleasant appear pleasant, the unattractive appear attractive. Basically, it's language that pretends to communicate, but really doesn't.
Why is there not a larger amount of pressure to demand Robertson resign? I can't really get my head around this. To me, it's a no-brainer. It should be any person who's outraged by what's currently going on should be calling for Robertson to resign.
Я хочу монетизацию.
Today we're going to teach you a lesson that we're not alone in the universe. They have humanoids living among us, and they're from another star. Tell me the name of those critters. My favorite race is called the Carinians.
What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours brought the sun and the my yesterday was blue, dear. Now I'm a part of you, dear.
I do birthday shout-outs. Like, whose birthday is it? Is it your birthday, Baron von Corny Pops? Because if it is, what we try to turn this into, Glenn Michael? You want me to get Paladin on the case, like, you know?
Blur, but I'm pretty sure it ruled. Damn, last Friday night, yeah, we danced on tabletops. Now we took too many shots. Think we kissed, but I forgot last Friday night.
You feel more dead than alive when you share yourself another fight.
Ever since my girl left me, my whole life came crashing and I'm so lonely, Mr. Lonely. I have nobody. Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah, screaming that's nothing. When I pulled off the lot, that's nothing. Reppin' my town, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I put it down from the whip to my diamonds. I'm in black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Black stripe, yellow paint. I hear they scared of it, but them pros ain't. Soon as I hit the club, look at them face. Hit the pedal once, make the floor shake.
So have you ever noticed a culture of snobbery at Edinburgh Uni?
I haven't seen masses of it, so if it is, it's probably quite like covert.
They have cut out all of the Scottish people that they interviewed yesterday to put out that video, and I know that because I was one of them. I'm going to run through every question that they asked me and my response to those questions, because of course the BBC has a bigger platform than me, but I have figured out that 5 people hearing it is better than no people hearing it. So here I am, and here's my attempt to make a difference in society. The first question that they asked me was, do you believe that there is a culture of snobbery, in inverted commas? Have you experienced this culture? Have you got any examples that you can think of? To which I said, yes, I do. And the examples are as follows. I've been told that my country is too economically insignificant for me to have political opinions. I've been told that I'll never get a job in the arts because you have to be cultured to do that. I've also been told I'll never get a job in the arts because I'll never be able to afford to live in London. I've been scoffed at for refusing to live in London before, for saying that I don't need to live in London to have a job in the arts or have a creative job. I have experienced somebody going round a group of people asking why everybody chose Edinburgh in the first place until he got to me, at which point he said, "Oh, we know why you chose Edinburgh, because you couldn't get anything better." I've been congratulated for getting out of Ayrshire. I've been laughed at for my voice and accent in tutorials and seminars when I'm trying to make academic points that are quite serious about gender, colonialism, war. I understand nothing. I don't understand a single word that's come out of your mouth, but I love your accent, just keep talking. Obviously don't quite match up with the covert snobbery at the University of Edinburgh, as was so cleverly put by somebody in that video. She then asked me, do you think that it's just Scottish students that experience this snobbery, or do you think it's also working class English students? To which I was slightly offended, because I don't think I look that stupid of a person. Obviously, is what I have to say to that. Like, obviously. I was quite polite about it. I didn't say any of that. I didn't affirm the fact that the conversation we're having is because of the tab, and the fact that the tab set up a marginalisation against Scottish students in particular. I was very polite. I talked about Pollock Halls, the fact that everybody migrates to Pollock Halls in particular from London, all knowing each other and having known each other from the age of 12, and if you don't also know them or circulate in those same kind of friend groups and circles in London, then you're going to be excluded when you come here as well. I do just think it's fundamentally bad journalism. Of course it's a class issue, of course it's an issue perpetuated by the upper class elite who are continually coming into this university setting because they can pay for it. Obviously all of those issues exist. I'm not stupid, neither are the viewers of the BBC. Everybody knows that that's what the case is here. I thought it was a very patronising question to ask me. And then finally, the cherry on top, she asked me if there was anything I thought that the university could do to help the issues that we were facing at the University of Edinburgh, and I said absolutely. I think the university can revert to an earlier time in society where you got into university on academic merit rather than how much money you could offer the university body. And that was that. So all in all, BBC, you should be ashamed of yourself. You perpetuate all of these classist ideas that are seen in the University of Edinburgh, which is probably no surprise given that the majority of the people that work for you will come from there anyway. And I shouldn't be surprised and disappointed, yet I am, because I find myself irritated by the shocking journalism that you have exhibited. Do better next time.
Buenos dias, amigos. Hola, comrades. It's Monday, the 18th of November. It's chilly, to say the least. Thanks to jugs of rat milk there, which I just realised was that lass's TikTok name for her expose of the BBC and Edinburgh University. It's been going on for years, but without TikTok, maybe, I think it's a good development that they're getting the lid lifted a wee bit on them. Liven up yourself. Good morning to you. Arpignon, good morning to you. Nigel's in the... we've got some... Nigel says, I was 24 when I went to Edinburgh University. When I spoke in a lift, I always thought folk thought I was the Janny. It's mental. When this... thing that I put it was a few weeks ago, wasn't it, that I sort of became aware of this Edinburgh tapping. I was talking to my sister. My wee sister told me the same story. She had done like an access course or something, and she was like, everybody was a total fanny to me because I spoke like a Scottish person, or like sort of like just the way that they were. That's 20 years ago or something. Morning, Bodjaws McGlinty. It is cold, aye, it's cold, eh? Rona whiffing morning. I think Rona, if I'm aware, maybe aware, I didn't check, but somebody left a comment on the. I think the T-shirt's yours, is it not? What did you guess, Rona? Did you guess 22? I think Rona won the tea. Is that right? You'll be getting a discontent tea in the post, 10. Buenos dias a todos. Sky Blue, Madame Guy, Ecup W. Morning, Doreen, Kit Kats, the crew, eh? Macapella. 23, well done. Brilliant, one shot. Rona scoops the tea. This was back in the 90s, yeah. Poshos, eh? But it has got worse. It has got worse. They were always a bit of a joke because there was a balance, but I'm afraid that balance is long since gone. That balance has left this town. I was at uni down in London. First day, I'm standing with my mate from Northern Ireland. English girl comes up and introduces herself, asks where we are from. I kid you not, he said Northern Ireland, and she turned on her heel and walked. I went to ECA and there was only 2 people on our year group from Scotland out of 15. Higher education. Take me higher. Right, well, there's no there's no grand agenda, as always. What's going on with my shirt? I'm a bit tawdry this morning. I've got some sort of, I think this is toothpaste, just in case you're wondering. I don't know what it is. Looks a bit suspect. Katrina Grant says, I went to Edinburgh Uni to study law, and it's the only time in my life I was ignored. I'd speak and no one said anything. Do you know what, right? That's the same. There's a bunch of videos on TikTok I was looking, and that was a common thing that folk were saying. Folk were saying like, we would talk and then like people would just like act like we weren't even talking. That's mental. Arrogant bastards, eh? Yeah. Well, that's the sound. That's going to soon become the sound of a diner. So I'm enjoying the uni tales. When I was at uni in Stirling, Lassie, who was in the same halls as me, her family were pals of Prince Charles. Charlie's pals. Why have we dropped off some numbers and they're watching now on YouTube? Where have you gone? Like, you just got to drop in, leave so soon, leaving so soon. Go and find better entertainment elsewhere at this time in the morning. What's Call K? What's happening on BBC Scotland? What's Call K talking about? Is it K? Is it still those people? Anyway, I tell you what. Look at this, right? Check this out. Where is it? A wee second. props to Mikey and Gary for taking me along to African Head Charge at La Belle and Gel on Friday night. It was they were mixed by Adrian Sherwood. It was absolutely amazing, and I think they played well. I know that they played in Glasgow on Saturday night as well, and I heard it was equally amazing. But it's it's rare that you get a vibe like that to see something like that. So that was a real special Friday night, I have to say, and a great way to end the madness of the electoral by-election. So how are we all doing this morning? We're all jolly good. Excited for the week ahead. We seem to be heading to World War III. This is the state of the times, like, you know. Biden's authorised the use of long-range missiles from Ukraine into Russia. So that's a nice bit of news, isn't it? That's a jolly piece of info. What have we got here? But let's have a look, shall we? So basically, Edinburgh University is full of snobs, and the BBC is up to its usual manipulation tricks. The BBC is just bad, isn't it? And BBC Scotland is the worst of the worst of the worst. There's nothing worse. There is literally nothing worse. Craig Murray has gone to Lebanon. He's put himself right in the I'm on the ground. Oh, there's a surprise. He's asking for some dollar. Fair play to him. Where would we be? This is
property. They lost everything they owned and worked for. They've lost.
Right. What's Aaron Bastani saying? A respected UK broadcast journalist told me in 2019 that Nigel Farage faced imminent arrest and multiple US agencies were after him, collusion with Russia. I laughed and ignored them, but it was obvious then how utterly outlandish parts of the centre-left were becoming. There's been an important and worthwhile self-examination of the left and radical left. See recent clip with Michael Walker and I.O. Caesar, but ultimately the centrist brain melt is way more impactful. Which brings you back to this. What is this? When's this? These places left their audience poorly placed to understand their own country. Trump went from imminently going to jail, apparently, to the best result of any Republican in major cities for at least 2 decades, so this is pretty predictable. Lots of articles on how MSNBC's audience has completely collapsed, disappeared once Kamala lost and got disillusioned, but the full extent is shocking. Their primetime shows can't even get 75,000 people watching. What's being said here? There's been an important, worthwhile... There's been an important and worthwhile self-examination of the left and radical left. When did this happen? When did this important self-examination of the left and the radical left? Actually, I'll tell you who clocked this. I never watched it. I can't really be bothered with these Novara people very much, really, to be honest. They're just posh socialists. They're not even socialists, are they? They're just desperate to have their own media broadcast. This is about competing for media clicks. That's what most of their output is about, really, to be honest. But I think I saw, if I'm correct, I think Jim put something up about it. I seen it, that's right. Has the left given up trying to represent working class people when they disagree with them? This was discussed by Michael Walker and Io Caesar. So, like, what's this, 2024? How long ago was Corbyn? Like 7-8 years ago or something. So, these kind of ID poll acolytes, these kind of flag flyers for retardation, are now going, oh, maybe we should be thinking about the working class and that. They're just craving opportunities, these people. I have to admit, it's so easy to surf past something, but as soon as I hear these posh folk talking, it just does my head in. I'm like, I can't be bothered listening to you. Yeah, I'm not interested. What did Jim say? The working class need to represent ourselves. That'll be true. We don't need GB News media types to do it. Their discussion also says we need to get out there and listen to focus groups. There's a discussion to be had about the left abandoning the working class and left failure, but this ain't it. Yeah, I agree with Jim. I agree with Jim on that. I agree with Jim on that point. It's this whole notion of what the left is. I mean, it's partly social media is a huge part. Oh, social media. You know this term, we say it, social media. We must blame social media, or it's very easy to it's very easy to dismiss, like, what am I trying to say here? It's easy to kind of go, something isn't right, so we blame social media for it, and we say, oh, this is because of social media, or so what there is there's a sort of disavow, there's a sort of there's no responsibility taken for what your own participatory part in that social media field is. Social media is in many ways a game, or aspects of it are like a game, I think. So if you're playing the game, if you're participating in that game, then there are pitfalls, there are rules to those games in some ways. Nobody really maybe knows what those rules are. But I think that it's a convenient kind of get out to kind of just go, or this is the fault of social media, or I mean, it's undoubtedly social media is having a significant impact on how we interact, how we consume, how we how we operate, how we interpret information. But I think that there's definitely a kind of an easy kind of, you don't have to take responsibility to a certain extent. You probably think I'm just waffling madness. There's a high chance that I am. What was saying here? I was at Nick Cave on Friday. Mind blowing as usual. Arpignon says it is 100% a game. We design it to be like that. Yeah, totally. Again, the whole model of it, the Jodie Dean model, communicative capitalism, capture and distraction. It wants your attention. It needs to mine your data. If you weren't on it, it wouldn't be able to mine your data. So it's like, so there's a wee thought, right? See, for all the sanctimonious liberals that are like all excited about going to Blue Sky and they think they're so morally superior and supercilious, or these absolute morons that have decamped to Blue Sky. What are they doing? They're just providing big tech with more data. They're just going like, they're getting double the narcissist hits because 90% of them haven't actually left X. They're all giving it, oh, I'm done with X. I'm on X, but I'm telling you I'm done with X. Is the flouncing, the great flouncing of 2024. Mind, there was the ones before, there was Mastodon, and I think there was another one where they all did this before. This has been the most significant one. The liberal decampment, but they're quite embarrassing, aren't they? Really, a lot of these people, or some of them in particular, have made great statements. Well, the thing that ultimately defines them, in my opinion, is that they're hypocrites. They're continually contradictory. They don't have any actual opinions. But what they do require is attention. That much is obvious. It's a brilliant time for observing the human condition. I'd be a liar if I didn't think that was the case, you know? It really is quite fascinating. And it's interesting, you know, it's like certain people who have been like, the best thing to do is to just disassociate yourself with social media. They're now like, get onto this other social media platform. Look, come to this one. We can do stuff here. And then it's really quite embarrassing. Saw Pete Wishart announce this announcing your departure. I am pushing another button on my phone. Well done. Congratulations. Absolute fucking madness. But the fact that Pete Wishart is doing that is the kind of age of plastic political celebrity, isn't it? This is what we ended up with when politics became kind of like, you know, culture. What was it I was looking for? There was that's right, I saw something that annoyed me this morning. I wasn't long at my scratcher, but this was it. I saw that Mary Black had gone on Alistair Campbell's podcast. It's a kind of quite a debasing. It's debasing anyway. You know what I mean? It's like this. Is this just the career move that happens once you've made a bit of? I mean, she must have made a bit of money. She got to make a few speeches in Westminster. She hit a few points occasionally. Then she became disillusioned with it. I'd sooner shit in my hands and clap than sit next to Alistair Campbell. You know, he is the definition of human excrement. He's a man who almost certainly doctored paperwork in order to send us into war, and I had said, you know, basically, in what I had said, you know, I wasn't long at my scratcher, but, you know, I was basically saying, it's, I did feel that at times Mary Black was subject to overly negative critique, you know. She was dead young when she went in, and she was well-meaning. And she went in on the back of the independence referendum whenever, you know, where spirits were kind of a little bit all over the place and people were caught up in intoxicated with false prophets and false ideas. But to go and give patronage to Alistair Campbell is deeply disappointing, especially if you consider yourself a socialist. So, Mary Black, total disgraceful decision on your part. If Alistair Campbell had asked you to come on his podcast, you should have publicly said how you had taken great delight in telling him to go and ram it up his arse. But instead you've gone along there like some absolute gimp and sat down and spoke to him and Rory Stewart. So I'm afraid I have lost all respect for you, young lady. I'm sure you won't give a fuck one way or the other, but, you know, what are you doing talking to him? You should have told him to go and fuck himself. Jaws McGinty says, folk are, I don't know where he's going, but I like the start of the sentence anyway. Folk are chopping their knobs off with more confidence than they are being able to leave. What? Folk are chopping their knobs off with more confidence than they are being able to leave a social media platform. Maybe it's the way I'm reading it. Here's a question. Here's a question for the, what's it called, Blue Sky, for the Blue Sky Brigade, right? Can you say anything positive about Hezbollah on Blue Sky? Has anybody got Blue Sky? Can we do a social experiment? Can you put a promotional statement about Hezbollah on Blue Sky. Let's see if you can get away with that. To me that would be an important deduction. it's something in that, like, you know. Apparently, well, as we would expect, being a kind of woke stronghold, it's particularly censorious and fabulously anodyne as well. It's a place for boring people to pretend that they're interested in their wee gangs, where they're not subject to Nazis like Liz Killeen. What have we got here? I did actually upload my vlog from my. I called it a short film, but I uploaded my that short that I made onto X last night. So this. Miguel says, probably not a good idea if you live in the UK, bud. It's a proscribed org, so likely a criminal offence to promote it in any way. But people can say stuff about it on X, can they? Or does that mean you get a chap on the door anyway? She's been a massive disappointment. No comment on Alex Salmond's death. How does she square up Nicola Sturgeon being so far in the closet? She's in Narnia when she's gay herself. Fair enough. Torian says, I went there for an hour. It's a shit show of angry people blaming X for all that's wrong in their life. I think this is going to run. I don't think we need to try to summarise everything that's going on with this bizarre duality, pluralism of social media plurality. It's definitely going to run a bit. It's quite fun to see the types that are decamping, you know. It's definitely fun. No doubt about that whatsoever. What have we got here? I'm always amused when the OK Boomer spitball is fired. It tells me first that the fetus responsible doesn't understand regional demographics. Secondly, that they are doomed to repeat history's mistakes. Though to be fair, I've always thought Brand to be a fraud and a cunt. Let's see what's going on here. This was, in fairness, as I've said, this was somebody called me a boomer about that thing. It's like the film isn't really that short film. It's like I thought I was being clever. Well, in fact, I was being clever because this is Fisher's own statement was a slow cancellation in the future, and why should I have to explain this? I'm not going to explain it, right? The clue's in the title. I'm not going to explain it. Why should everything have to be explained? It's more an indictment on those that, like the clever clogs, the ones that have gone so rage about it. You're defending a sex offender. No, I'm not. No, I'm fucking not. It's just so moronic, you know. I thought I had deftly dealt with it in the actual title. I thought, brilliant. There we go. Boom. Makes sense. Made sense to me. Made sense to a bunch of other folk I spoke to. Right? If folk want to get it, just whatever. I can't be bothered. I'm on to the next thing. Can't be bothered. Anyway, I sort of agree with what that person said there. Matt Quinn, the Caledonian Television Company. Skyscraper Wayne for the Red Road. It sounds alright. Well, why are you no following me, Matt Quinn? I think you did follow me. I'll follow you, right? Did you unfollow me? Right. I can't. I've not followed I've not followed the farmer talking that. Sorry, I've left one of his messages up there. But I like this. I'm copying it over to the chat. Listen, I did figure out how to fix the chat thing. I just not had a chance. I'm allowed to be tired, right? I am allowed. I'm entitled to be tired myself. There we go, right. There's one way to do it, right? That's the easiest way to do it. Why did I not just do that before? Could have done that a million times before. Having your Blue Sky handle in your bio is maybe less cringe than putting he, him in your bio. But it says the same thing, yeah, it says, I'm a fucking twat. That's what it says. It says, I'm a fucking twat. That's what it says. Let's just be honest about it. Right. And I don't make any excuses for swearing. For swearing this early in the morning. Checking in late, morning all. It's fresh though, the sun's shining. The sun is shining. Hold on a minute. Today, after this, I'm going down to the recording studio to meet the boys for Gutterblood. We're recording their EP, so wish me luck. I need to get the old lemon and honey on the old thrapple, like, because it's a bit rough. I hope I'm not coming down with something. Right, David Jameson's slagging Ross Greer. Well, I hope he is. He's quote tweeting him, which generally tends to infer that somebody's getting ripped. The Scottish Green Party's version of opposing NATO, demanding NATO be more warlike. Meanwhile, Ross's comrades in the German Greens are literally strutting around invaded Lebanon. He's not calling for long-range missiles in that case. What's Ross saying? Hard to always look at this. This is up there with Tyson and fucking Jake Paul, Owen Jones and Ross. I'd pay money to watch those two batter each other. Would you not? Imagine that. Imagine if I would watch a fight. We could raise a lot of money if we got Owen Jones and Ross Greer to fight to the death. That'd be a spectacle. Ridley Scott wouldn't be able to compete with that. Trust me. That would be a battle that I would want to watch. Like, Ukraine. Hard disagree. North Korean troops, Iranian drones, sabotage, hacks, and attempted assassinations were all escalations on Russia's part, whilst Ukraine's allies prevented it from fully defending itself. Destroying the sites from which Russian attacks on Ukrainian civilians is justified. Now they're in agreement, so that was a de-escalation. What's this? Owen Jones, this is like this. This is the thing about X. It's quite fun. It's got all these little sock accounts, just like ridiculous. Right, Rab Wolfgang Face, which is an account that I find myself in regular agreement with. I think he's quite a good account, to be honest. He's a sort of what is. I think this is a new account. Yeah, this is a new account. He had a bigger account, but he got his account. Whoever he is, whoever Rab is, lost his account. So I understand that experience. But take 90 seconds out your day to laugh at this absolute fucking plamp. What a guy. What shall we take 90 seconds out of our day? Okay, let's just have a look.
Materialistic stuff, which Miami is.
Right, listen.
Anyone with a growth mindset has to come to Miami. Brickell specifically, where I've been staying, is just absolutely insane. As someone from the UK as well, it's so normal there to try and tear everyone down, to laugh at people's dreams, and here it's just normal, and here you can really see what is possible when you actually watch loads of rooms. Even in my short time here, you walk past so many of the world's most known celebrities, influencers. It's just supercar after supercar after supercar coming past you, and so many people don't even bat an eyelid because it's just so normal. And I know a lot of the materialistic stuff, which Miami isn't for everyone, but there's so much more than that here. The networking, the opportunities, the eye-opening experience that this is crazy. There's something for everyone, no matter where your business brain takes you.
The bright lights, the big city. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Steve Hall. Professor Steve Hall. It's always worth reading his posts on X. I tell you what, man, right? There's like 100 viewers, like 90 odd viewers on X. How many regulars we got? It's just like generally what the X has about. I can't say exactly, but we're talking about something like maybe 600 odd, 700 average views now. I think maybe a bit more. So a lot of cats, excuse me. A lot of folk do actually tune in, as you can see. So I suppose that's good, right? Is that good? I think it's all right. When the creditor class say printing money causes inflation, they naturalise their intentions. By jacking up prices and interest rates, attacking currencies and withdrawing capital, they cause inflation, damage economies, and inflict suffering on populations. Why? To chasten and discredit governments. The only institution powerful enough to subdue them and make money work for public purpose, rather than the creditors' purpose of self-enrichment, to make sure people believe them. They place puppets in central banks, governments, and mass media. The guy's just summarised in two posts. I'm telling you, man, the guy. He's a sharp guy. He's just summarised. Right, okay. People have written books on neoliberalism, essays, PhDs, fucking forever, right? It's a thing, right? But in 2 posts, he's very neatly summarised that. There's lots of different angles you can look at it. You can look at the psychology, the philosophy of capital. Like, don't get me wrong. I find capital. I've said it before. You know, I think capital is fascinating, beyond fascinating. It's dark magic. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But he's kind of identified the ruse, if you like, of neoliberalism, where it's kind of it requires very cynically positioned agents in various parts of the network in order for it to operate in the way that it does. Anyway, brilliant once again. Prince Bob should get an influencer fee for advertising shampoo. Well, I didn't use shampoo. And Lucy, whenever she comes to do my hair, she's always like, ah, why do you not wash your hair? It's minging. So, it might look alright on camera. But it's a different story if you get up close. Can we give Rona a round of applause for winning the t-shirt? I think she deserves a round of applause. Oh, here's the village idiot is piped up. We are more likely to end up with World War III if we don't support Ukraine than if we do. It's like, and you know what, right? Never underestimate my influence on culture. Listen, right? There's loads of things I've done. I never get the credit, and because they're always like, fuck him. I don't care. I just tell you myself, right? When I made that Corbyn film in 2017, the Labour Party appropriated my entire soundtrack and aspects of my fictitious manifesto and turned it into their actual manifesto and launched their manifesto with Corbyn with the soundtrack that I had used on the film that I put together, right? Then I called Suzanne Moore, put the tweet out about the, what do you call it, the TRAs, right? And I called them Black Panthers, and that went global. I came up with that, me. I was lying in my bed. I was like, I said that, right? And Zambo has named his Twitter handle as the fetid well of neoliberal culture. Right, when am I getting paid? When am I getting paid? Look at all those cheers for Rona. Brilliant. And that's just the start of it. That's just the tip of the iceberg. When will you admit? When will I get my rightful place in Scottish culture? Such a pussyhole culture. Such a pussyhole culture, Scottish culture. And the more they double down, the worse it gets. Absolute relics. Decaying, fetid relics. Dominating the landscape. Talentless, stinking, fetid relics of culture. Absolutely hoofing. Rank. Fuck all. Fuck all to say. Steam powered. I'd call them Luddites, but Luddites were actually talent. Luddites actually had talent. They were craftsmen, weren't they? Neil Campbell, respect to yourself. Respect to yourself, Neil Campbell. Now, yes. So say. She came it was me, and she wrote it in the article, and she wrote the article, and she goes, some wit referred to the man. I was like, that was me. You could have just said me, but they'll never do it. Just some wit that I should refer to myself as. Right. Is everyone enjoying themselves? I'm actually enjoying myself. That's all that matters. That's all that matters, you know? It's a cold morning. Sometimes I'm like, yo, because y'all don't know what's involved. You don't know what's involved. That make it look nice and easy for you all. I was telling Dorian about it when I seen Dorian, but it doesn't matter. I'm not bored. I'm not bored. So what pose would you do? You built a statue? I'll come back to you on that one. I'll come back to you on that one, mate. I tell you what, like I say, the African head charge was sublime. Slightly enhanced with a slight, just a mellow dunk to psilocybin, like definitely put it in perspective. Look at this. It's Fatis Prickus's birthday. We can't not acknowledge the funniest guy in Edinburgh. What will I do? Where's the... These are my most used emojis. There we go. I'm avoiding starting work. Mountains to shift this week. This helps make it harder. I don't know if is that good or bad. There's an emoji of piri piri chips. Can you get on that? Yeah, I didn't know what to say. It was like a... I had wanted to make it through to Glasgow, but yes, and it was great to catch up with you in real life, Bob. The Glasgow gig was great with the bonus track too. Defo Chief. It was a really nice guy. I've only known him through X for years, since for 10 years maybe, Twitter or X or whatever, but I bumped into him at that gig with his laddie, a staunch reggae head, you know. It's the healing of the nation, you know. If you've got that vibe, if you know it, if you know the power of the one drop. What's a Stegosaurus? Is that an energy drink? Is it, or has it got alcohol in it? Is that you confessing to a lunes aperitif, a lunes libation? Is that what's being said here? Oh yeah, look at this. This was yet. So somebody was going rage about this on Instagram, but it pissed me off last night when I went to rehearsal. And where was it? Apparently this is fake. Apparently there's fuck all wrong with that. Horrible. It must be here. So like last night. I've just been informed that I'm perfectly aware of what a Stegosaurus is. Well, I can hardly get... I think everybody should start a Monday with a Stegosaurus. Because there you go. Listen, right, I can testify. Absolutely first class. I would heartily recommend the Stegosaurus. I see it here. Right. This is the future. In fact, that's going to be the first... we're going to start doing some advertising on What the X, and it's going to be... it's going to be the psilocybin treatment that we're going to be advertising. So, last night I noticed this, so I don't know what it's like today. Maybe somebody can give... Look at all that complete... Nobody uses that part anyway, right? All this elaborate bollocks, like, not like, oh yeah. It's like it's like Trumpton or something, isn't it?
Shite, they waste money.
This miserable bastard.
They're going to extend the cycleway onto Great Junction Street, right?
So now what, for the whole of November or something, we're going to have a cycleway there?
That's all going to be fucking closed for. But you're not going to get along there, so there's going to be...
So it's just more, it's more fiddling. Everybody seems equally irritated by it. Colin Simpson says, there's a pedestrianised and cycle route to the shore already in existence. It's called the Kirkgate. It's over 60 years old, but there's no scope for corruption in that. True. Chaz Booth's Green Party and the Sustrans crew and all of these people have not only destroyed the sort of city in terms of what they've done to the roads and the imposition they've put on people. It's a total racket. It's happening everywhere. It's happening in every city. Dave Haslam put up a picture that somebody had put this poster up in Manchester. This poster, this is Manchester. We do things exactly the same as any other city that has sold its soul to the highest bidder, pursuing growth at any cost. Prioritising profits over people, parading an overcooked version of our history and culture to overseas investors, whilst bulldozing all remaining outposts of character back home, forcing local people and their livelihoods from any last slivers of land that could potentially hold yet another plastic rental tower. Definitely correct, but the important factor is obviously like the thing that's probably allowed us to become relentless is the what's the term? Not quite, I can't remember. Just, you know, the party political classes getting involved in local government. You know, the capture of local government by party politics has allowed this wholesale corruption of international capital to flood into places like Edinburgh, Manchester, such and such. Okay, so look at what ECOPW says. I heard the Great Junction Street bus lane next to Tam O'Shanter will be a bike lane, so only one lane for buses and cars equals more standstill. So Chaz Booth and the Green Party zealots and the eco zealots of Edinburgh's Green Party are once again just forcing through this hostile environment for vehicles, going to make it more and more problematic. You know, if you're in Leith, right, and you're at the Banana Flats and you want to get to like the other side of Constitution Street, if you're in a car, you actually, I think you have to drive along the whole of what's the street down the bottom? You basically have to go round the links from the other side. It's just ridiculous. It's and imagine if you've lived there for like most of your life, and all of a sudden this is the imposition that's forced on you by these bastards, by these middle class wankers. They are the most arrogant, despicable human beings. They are disgusting people. They're horrific, arrogant, snobby fuckers, right? I despise these people. There's few people I really despise. I fucking can't stand these people. They should be hounded. They should be hounded out of the council. Self-righteous, smug wankers. There you go, eh? You thought you would have got a whole Monday without me losing the fucking heat of his son. Well, you're wrong. I've got annoyed by the eco zealots. Right. Well, listen. The other thing is there's just hardly any bikes, you know. That it's like apart from, and then here's the next thing. The next thing is this, right? They've got all these bike lanes, right? They've got all these bike lanes that cut into the pavement. So you're crossing the road, you've got to cross the bike lane again to get onto the safety of the pavement. And then My old man has been knocked over by a bicycle, and he wasn't even on a psychopath, and the person screamed at him that he was on a psychopath. He wasn't on a psychopath, he was just on a path. And there have been numerous instances of people getting hit by the bikes. Now, some of the electric bikes come hammering down Leith Walk on that idiot psychopath that they've created. But someone pointed out to me, you know what I mean, bikes have got no insurance, so they're actually going to, I guarantee you, right, folk are going to end up, like, there's going to be some serious injuries if there haven't been already. I'm conscious of it when I'm walking up and down Leith Walk, and you can easily find yourself veering into what would be the psychopath, you know what I mean? If you're just like, you're not really paying attention, you're just walking what used to be, you know, you used to be walking on the pavement, right? You're on the pavement, there's the road. Now it's like, there's the pavement, and here's a bike lane, right? Maybe in the past, before the electric bikes, it wouldn't have been too much of a problem. But the electric bikes are fast, man. They're dangerous, and the Deliveroo dudes and that, they're just doing their thing. They need to get around and get their money in and everything like that. But it's like, it's just so badly designed. It's designed by fannies, right? Let's just be honest about it. We have allowed fannies to destroy our city. Every single part of our city is being destroyed by fannies. What are we going to do about it, right? You got these cats going, oh, you only got 22 votes. No, I never only got 22 votes, right? I got 22 votes. And David Henry was out there a month before the election got called. He delivered over 6,000 leaflets by hand himself. He was knocking on doors almost every night of the week. He was there the whole time. And he had a very, very solid critique of the council. I agreed with a lot of what David Henry said. I thought he was a good candidate. If anybody deserved to be elected as an independent candidate to represent the city and take on the council, especially his critique of their failure of leaving empty homes, the amount of council houses that they left empty, David Henry had observed all of that. He'd even identified which council houses in that area were needed to be spruced up and rented out to people, or given to families. He identified where the empty council houses were. David Henry only got double the votes I did, right? David Henry only got double the votes I did. My campaign was almost entirely online, as you saw. And it annoyed the living out of the Labour Party, rightfully so. And I would say that there must be people, that's first preference votes, folk voted for me. That means that there's people in that constituency who are absolutely opposed to the Labour Party's position on the genocide. That's the only way to interpret that. And maybe some of the others, they were like, nah, I agree with that guy, maybe I'm not going to vote for him first preference, but I'm not going to vote Labour. Labour dropped 4,000 votes, right? What are you trying to tell me, that we had no impact on that? Of course we had an impact on that. But the question about how you actually affect an electoral change, that's another matter altogether. I'd just like to say thank you very much to everybody who supported the campaign there. I think that we made a good point. I think we made a good campaign, a good point. And on that note, I'm going to wind up today's show. So thanks again for everyone who has joined us this morning on the most dynamic and interesting live broadcast anywhere. Anywhere. What the X. And I'm going to leave you with my favourite band in Scotland at the minute. They're called DOS, and this is their ode to DF concerts. See the Discontent t-shirt you made. Are you making more? I'll buy one or do a What the X one. Yeah, well, I do actually. They're on the Ko-fi. They are for sale on the Ko-fi link there. Although I think maybe I got the shipping thing wrong. Somebody told me one time I was trying to charge like 50 quid for shipping. It was just I hadn't pushed the right button or something. I'll have a look at it. You got to remember, folks, it's really just me with the additional help of some other talented people every now and again. But it's like, for the most part, it's me dragging myself out my scratcher and into your living rooms or wherever else you might be, on the bus, on the bog. Right, listen, have a great Monday. I'm leaving you with DOS. This is a great track. It's an ode to DF concerts, and it's called, appropriately, DF Dirty fuckers. I'll see you on Wednesday at 6. Ciao.